Welcome, Deviant Drivers, episode 5. A drink with a driver. Drink. Junkai.
You ready for this one?
Hmm. Yeah, I think we all are. What we got? Ooh, what is that?
It is what is called a Mambo Margarita.
Fancy.
And it has lime sherbet in it. We're all sorts of girly, summery drinks today.
well, well, you got to get it in now because it'll be pumpkin gangbang season here within what 2 months?
Well, it was like 182 degrees today, and we had this left over from we had a neon pool party that started at
Yeah.
9 o'clock the other night, which is way too late for me. But yeah, it's got tequila and beer and sherbet, all sorts of yumminess. So
Nice.
this is what we're rocking out today.
All right. All right. Cool. Awesome. So, all right. Well, we're going to start off talking about leaderboards. And it's been a couple weeks. This is kind of a new format for some of you guys wanting to know. Just formatting time period. We're going to kind of probably do this every 2 weeks going forward. And we're just going to wrap it all into one. And so we're going to start with Sunday Cup. And Sunday Cup right now, the last Sunday Cup race was the GTR Challenge. And Junkai, you didn't get to run. You're not driving Sunday Cup anymore, but I know you watched.
I definitely watched it though.
Yeah, our last video you had talked about, and you said that you were really looking forward to it with Tokyo, but I don't think Tokyo was necessarily the one that was the surprise.
Yeah, I had the wrong track in mind. I was thinking one of the other Tokyo tracks. I don't remember the name of it, but the smaller ones with walls on both sides. Like I thought that was where we were going. I didn't pay attention because I'm not racing, but no, I think that was a perfect track for that, honestly. And there was very little commotion, a little bit, but but other than that, no. And Yamagawa wasn't too bad. Which is what Zen was worried about last time. And then the last track, High Speed Ring in the rain, that was interesting.
We're going to get to that. So with the points in Sunday Cup, right now, Zen has
He's dominating.
a significant lead. There's no other way to say it. Yeah. 121 points to Victor Folgor's 90. So,
yeah.
And he's, he's got that many too. So he's this season, he's got another Clubman 500 coming up, which is going to allow him to drive as many again. So I'm sure that'll be another dominant weekend for him. So he's looking pretty good. Rounding out third is Cowhow with 84. So yeah, moving over to the leaderboards for GT3 Sport, or GT3 World rather. This race just took this past weekend that we just got done just yesterday, in fact, driving in. And this was at Alsace, France. Leaderboard right now is, surprise, surprise, Junkai at 112 with 4 victories for the season. So congratulations to you, sir, on yet another one. Besso is holding on to second pretty solidly with 102 points. And Zen is holding on to third. Even though he didn't run this weekend, he's still holding on to third with 80. With respect to teams, Team Porsche, big surprise, is leading with 182. Nissan, again, second with 171. And Ford still solidly sitting in third with 147. So moving over to GT3 Sport, they also ran this weekend. They ran at the Nürburgring, the GP circuit. Yep. And Zanshin is still holding on to first with 68 points. It's a little bit closer on their side of things. Soler is at 66, and Victor Folgore, TCR Folgore, is running 66 as well. So it's actually a tie for second and third. So yeah, that will be interesting to see how that shapes out. And they've only got one race left.
Yep.
So let's circle back to Sunday Cup. We were talking about Sunday Cup in regards to this race. You were looking forward to watching Tokyo, which had our closest finish in league history. Yeah. Period. Normally, we probably wouldn't talk about it with incident reports and that type of thing, but regardless, it is the closest finish ever within league history, 0.02 something and change. I mean, literally can't within a blink of an eye. And so the start was chaotic, as was expected. GTRs everywhere, close, down a long straight, into a hairpin with everybody with a different tune.
Yeah. I mean, some guys obviously tune their car for high end, some tune for the turns. Some were just equally balanced, and some were able to take advantage of slipstream. And it definitely was evident that most of the ones with the top end kind of came out a little bit closer to the top. And it was definitely enjoyable to watch, though, as far as it being a fast race. And you had to be nimble with the car. And again, the tires you chose for that race made it even more difficult. But it was still enjoyable to watch. There was tons of Nissans all over the place, kind of bumping into each other. But I mean, overall, again, I was expecting a little bit more chaos. I'll say secretly hoping for a little bit more chaos. But it was definitely cool to watch, for sure. I mean, it was. I do miss running in the Sunday Cup. I do, but
it's different. Good. It is different. We did run Yamigawa and Miyabi in reverse from what we ran the previous weekend in GT3 World, which was, and I'll speak from experience, it was a completely, obviously different track, but the experience was completely different. It was, even though it was the same track, it was 180 degrees opposite. The cars handled differently. You experienced the undulations opposite of what you had in the weekend prior, and it was extremely challenging, fun, but challenging. And you know,
I honestly, it is. I mean, first off, I didn't realize you can run it in reverse. I just don't pay attention to that stuff, but it is like it is learning a whole new track all over again. Even though you know what's coming up next, you're approaching it from a different angle, different altitude, not altitude, but well, I guess altitude maybe kind of, but it's completely different, so, and I think wasn't it foggy or overcast or something like that?
Well, I think it started out that way. I don't believe it can rain at that track, so there wasn't any fearful of rain. The only two tracks we were really worried about was Tokyo and then High Speed Ring, which was hilarious because I don't know, the audio doesn't pick up on the stream for a multitude of reasons. We don't stream audio, but if we had been streaming the audio, it would have been hilarious because when I started up the room, I literally said, "Oh shit." And and I could see it before, just like 3 seconds before everybody could. And they started popping in there in the menu. And then everybody started looking and they said, oh God, oh no, oh. And it was a downpour, not a sprinkle, not a drizzle. It was a gully washer of a race, and it went surprisingly well.
It actually did. I mean, again, as long as you were running some all-wheel drive cars, there could have been worse cars to choose from. Imagine doing that in like the Viper or something.
Right. So, yeah, it was an interesting race. I think for me personally, it was the most fun of the three. It had the most dynamic involved. Yes, you had to get around in the rain. It's something that we don't experience a lot in GT7,
Yeah.
simply because the algorithm of whatever they use, it doesn't happen very often. And then there's certain tracks that it just can't happen. So
Yeah.
it's a very, very small thing that we deal with. And I don't know that anybody at all practiced these GTR cars in the rain.
Yeah. I like the fact that during that race, it rained and then it stopped and then you had to follow the dry line. You know, I know it would have been just as fun with it being raining the entire time, but you having to kind of shift mid race to follow the dry line and adhere to it, made all the difference. And I remember watching you because you were streaming, but you kind of locked in a little bit quicker than some others and were able to get some faster lap times down. And you were starting to gain on people, but you just didn't have enough time to
No.
do much past that. But that part was cool of just having to stay on the dry line. That was cool to watch.
Yeah, it was definitely, I had the most fun on that track of the three. So moving on to the next topic, which is GT3 World. This was Zen's first absence since he joined. How long ago did you say?
I would have to go back to see when he joined July of last year. He joined, and ever since then he's raced in every single race since.
Every single one. This was his first absence this weekend.
Yep.
And he's still in second, or he's still in third.
And
And yeah.
it's a shame he missed because the one thing we got out of the race yesterday was exactly what mile per hour we're supposed to run around the safety car lap, and he missed it. Of all the races to miss, he missed it. Yeah, no, it was you definitely, when you have someone that's there every single Sunday, it's noticeable when they miss. So I just miss seeing the pretty car. I didn't miss having to drive around him or anything.
Right,
But
right. Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of safety car, now you had a little different of a strategy
I don't know what you're
for.
talking about.
So you stayed out during the safety car. Many
Sure
guys
did.
pitted. There were a few that stayed out, but most everybody pitted under the safety car.
Yep.
And you stayed out. So let's talk a little bit about your strategy and how
Yeah.
did you plan to do that? Was that on the fly or what?
I will say typically, and I said this one of our last podcasts, that I usually fight with myself to change on the fly as opposed to sticking with the strategy that I've created without being under duress. And I usually say, you know what, stick with what you did and then write it out from there. Because not a lot of the variables change too much. But it was a late safety car. I mean, lap 20, and I ran 31 laps. So, I mean, we didn't start full green until lap 21, which gave 10 laps of real racing, and that was it. You know, it was a gutsy call a little bit to stay out because those that went in on the safety car lap could take hards the entire race and finish. And usually that's what I stick with. But because the pit stop was only 15 seconds with tires, and I was conserving fuel getting up to that point, and we'll talk about that in a second with you taking off. But I was conserving fuel, and when I came in after the safety car lap, I picked up mediums on lap 27. I think it was 27 or 26. I can't remember. And I was fighting with myself because I was going to go back on mediums. And I was like, you know what? It's nighttime. My mediums lasted significantly longer. I got 2 laps additional out of my mediums because I pitted on lap 18. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. We're going softs, because Fulgore had hit me up on Discord chat privately, and he's like, hey, just a question about strategy. And it got my mind thinking. I'm not going to tell you what he asked me, but he asked me a question, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it, whatever. So I jumped on softs. You had fastest lap the whole race. And I was 4 seconds ahead of Besso. I came out of the pit 7 seconds behind Besso, and he was in first. I was on softs. I knew he was running his tires all the way out. What I didn't know, that I found out watching the replay, he was on softs. He was trying to make softs last the entire rest of the race. I think had he gone mediums, I probably would not have been able to run him down. Had he gone mediums. But for whatever reason, he went softs, and I mean, I think it was like 3 out of 4 of his tires were just dead. And I mean, I don't want to say he just kind of let me go, but I mean, he just kind of drifted off to the side as I came up on him. But I didn't know if I was going to be able to run him down or not. But it worked out, and I wanted that extra point bad. I wanted that extra point. So when I saw the time that was still there, I went for it on that last lap, and I got it, thankfully. But yeah, it was a little bit of a different strategy.
Yeah, I realized about midway through the late safety car was not what I wanted. I wanted an early safety car, and I could tell fairly quickly. I was like, this is just not shaping up. And when I saw you pit, I said, I know what he's doing. Then I saw you stay out under safety car. I said, I know what he's doing. And as I was running around after the safety car, I was like, I'm not going to be able to hold these guys off. I know they're at worst, they're on medium tires.
Yeah.
After they pit. So I said, they're going to be coming. And I didn't realize you were on softs. I didn't realize Besso was on softs, but I had assumed that, everybody, Cowhow and you and Besso were all on mediums. But either way, I was on hards, and it was
you almost you kind of screwed up my strategy a little bit, because I was on pole and you were in second, and I know I announced to everybody I knew you'd be in first by first turn, which you were.
Yeah.
And then you took off. I did not anticipate you being on softs. I thought you were on mediums. So here I am thinking, I'm like shit in the bed. I'm like, I can't keep up with him. I'm like, what is going on here? So I was pushing, and I get medium tires. I was able to get 8 laps, but I was pushing and pushing. I'm like, I got to catch him. And I went pretty conservative the first like 3 laps.
Right.
I was just going to let you kind of go a little bit and just make sure, behind. I wasn't going to race you or anything, because I just wanted to get away from the pack. But then next thing you know, I look at the split and it's like 6 seconds. I'm like, damn it. So I started pushing harder. You pit before I did. And then when I got to lap 8, where I needed to pit, like my tires were dead. And I got a decent run off of you. I think I was up to 12 seconds ahead of you once you pit. But you came back down 7 seconds in just 2 laps. And I was like, I was really like scratching my head. I'm like, this is not going to work. And then I jumped on hards. You were on mediums. And again, just pulling away. And I'm like, he's in the zone. I don't know what he did. He did something. He's drinking with Floody, and he's just locked in. Needless to say, you were a tire better than me both times. And essentially our whole strategies were switched. Yeah. I ran hards early, you ran hards later. So
and it was at that midpoint. It was when you pitted. It must have been lap 18 when you did pit. That was when it clicked in my head that, okay, we're flip-flopped on strategies. How's this going to work out? And to guys in sport that are coming up, don't second guess your strategy, even if it's flawed. When you're driving, it kills you and it kills your concentration. It's very, very difficult to do. And I did it. You said you did it this race.
Yep.
but you get to calculating in your head. You're thinking about math. You're thinking about time. You're not thinking about your lap.
Yep.
And if you make a mistake in a strategy, you made a mistake in a strategy. I made a mistake in a strategy. Plus, the safety car is just dumb luck. So, what about the restart?
Um, I think it went okay. Did it not?
Yeah, I think for the most part it did. It was like I said, we had a nice safety car lap between speeds 60
Did.
and 70 miles an hour, hovering right around that 65 mark. And we got to the line and had a good restart.
Yeah,
And
I think it was good overall. I would say one cool thought about the race is it was and Team Toyota was excited about it, but it was cool seeing, Dirksey, Victor, Cowhow all for a while they were like 3, 4, and 5, and then 4, 5, and 6, and they were like swapping back and forth, and it was cool to see just their team was like so compact and just moving through the field and whatnot. So that was kind of cool. To see them actually, getting some good headway. So, unfortunately, a little late in the season because of how they started, but it was cool to see just all the Supras running together.
it ain't over till it's over.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
They still got a shot. So, with respect to GT Sport,
yep,
they had at Nürburgring GP they were running, which is honestly,
wait. Hold on. Reverse it. What position were you in on the final lap when you started your final lap?
Third, I believe.
You were. What position did you finish in?
Fourth.
Cow ran your ass down and passed.
He did. He did. And I could see it, and there was not a thing I could do about it.
I know. And it was a nice pass. It was a nice pass.
I pretty much let him go. I had too far. I was half a lap left in the track, and he was coming, and I said, Lord have mercy. He's going to get me here, or he's going to get me on that big sweeper. Yep. And because I knew he was on mediums, I was on hard.
He was on softs, I think, because he pitted.
He may have been on softs.
Yeah, I think he was on softs.
He was moving like he was on softs. Mm-hmm. And I said, there's nothing left there. Like I said, I was on hards going against 3 guys on mediums and softs. There was nothing you can do.
Yep. No, I was hoping Cowhow would run Besso down just to give me a little bit more of a buffer.
Yeah.
One more lap. One more lap, it probably would have, but it came close. It came close to 31 laps. Sorry. I hate to bring that up on you. My apologies.
Thanks. It's nothing. No worries. We go for entertainment for everybody. So with GT3 Sport, they're at the Nürburgring this past weekend, the GP circuit, which is a fun track, I think, personally. What do you think of it?
I like it. I mean, we don't run it often. No. It's I don't know. It's just a basic track, I guess. I don't know. I liked running it as a part as the full Nürburgring. I liked running that. I liked running the full one because it just broke up the monotony of just turn. So I like the GP circuit in that regard, but I don't know. I just, some tracks are your favorite, some are just not, and that's just not one of my favorite tracks. I do okay at it, I guess, but we just don't run it enough.
Zanshin dominated it. He got out front. He stayed out front. Fogor, he moved up, through the field, and he ended up in second. And it was really a pretty clean race. Not many incidents. Not much going on there. It was clean driving. and strategies that they were working through.
I feel like Victor was a little off pace though, for some reason. Like I just feel like he wasn't tapping in to his full potential.
Well, he said over audio he was kind of winging this one because he put so much effort into World
Yeah.
practicing and developing strategies with the team and everything that he basically he had a very quick strategy here and just kind of
Yeah, I
mailed
don't
it
know if
in,
that
so
was
to
it
speak.
though. It's like his car had some hesitation to it. Just didn't have that get up and go.
Well, which takes us to our public service announcement for the day. Change your oil, folks. Yes, Fogor has run.
Please
He
take a
runs in
picture of
Blair.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I will. I've got a nice picture there below of whatever that word translates to in Italian, but probably along the lines of crap.
Yeah.
And so he's run this car evidently quite a long time and through several league races, at least with us, one, two, three, four,
Five races. Yep.
5 races at minimum.
Yep.
Never change the oil. I'm sure this isn't his first time driving it. So yeah, it was horrible. Dead. Right. Yeah. He got his money's worth out of that $400 oil change.
Have you noticed what happens in game
No.
when you get to that point in oil?
No.
You can't take the RPMs all the way up to your red line.
Really?
Yeah, and it may have changed since the game first came out, but
you mean one of the 37?
Yeah, it doesn't. You're not able to get all the way to your shift point. It stops. So if like you running out to 8,000 RPMs, you really can't pass 6,500 RPMs.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So along with our public service announcement, we have a tip of the day that is a Easter egg of sorts in the game. Not that anybody really, other than Folgore, probably lets their oil get there. I know some of the guys, they change their oil every race.
I mean, hey, even Curious guys like, change your oil, guys, wash your car. And we appreciate him for it. That's fantastic.
He likes a clean car with clean oil.
I don't know how his car's getting dirty. I'm not even go there. We're good. Curious guy, I love you. It's getting dirty because he's off in the grass, off in the dirt. But he's there. He's there practically every week. So, yeah, change your oil, people. Change your oil. It's $50 in game. $50.
No, it's more than that, isn't it? I think it's $400.
Oh, maybe you're right. $100, $400, whatever. It's like 18 lottery spins, and then you have enough.
Yeah. Crude prices have gone up in the digital world.
So
the interesting thing that happened at the Sunday at GT3 Sport was the crash Race Ready had, which was unfortunate for him. Last lap, last turn, just overpowered, and he's driving the Ferrari. And I think you and him had a discussion about that, his car in one of the discussion forums about how difficult that car is to drive. I want so bad to drive the Ferrari, but that damn thing is just unpredictable.
Yeah. I want to run it. I don't know if I want to do that to my team though, and like self-destruct. I do want to give it a shot. Either that or the Lambo.
To do that to your team.
Yeah, it'd be pretty crappy to do that. The Ferrari's good in GT4.
Yeah,
Group 4 one is good. But the Group 3 one, I give him credit though, and I like watching him run just because the car sounds so damn good.
It sounds the best.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing, and this is still the same point. I think it actually gets off the line better than the Mercedes does. And
really?
Dude, that thing just launches. So yeah, it was unfortunate to see when you kind of shoot yourself in the foot. I'm sure I can just assume he was just trying to get on the throttle a little bit quicker than what you typically would, just because last lap, Bad Rock coming up on him.
He had no reason to push. Bad Rock was behind him. There was enough of a gap where it was, and he even
Yeah,
automatically
but
said
in
it.
the moment, it's easy to
In the
say now,
moment,
but in the moment, and I don't know if he's on controller or wheel, but yeah, in the moment, I mean, it's so different. I mean, I think it was Floody. He was like, dude, I can't get my leg to stop shaking. I'm so nervous right now. I love those like pre-race jitters. I don't know why we get them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only a video game. Of course,
right?
why not shoot a podcast over it? But that's
Yeah,
still,
why not?
it's you still get those little shakes and those little jitters and the butterflies and that anticipation, and then especially when you're about to finish better than you typically do. It's exciting. I mean, we've talked about that quite a few different times on guys getting to where they need to be and whatnot. So, but no, overall, it was definitely a fun race to watch. I'm glad we're coming to the end of both seasons, and I'm glad I'm getting pumped about joining these two leagues. I'm getting pumped to see some different blood, to race with different guys. Like I've seen them running over there in sport, but I feel like I don't know them. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I know all the guys in GT3 World. I just don't know the guys over in sport. So I'm eager to kind of race side by side with them. I think it's going to change things up a lot because you're going to pack everyone together closer, and you're going to have these little small packs that are going to let people get away, depending on who you get stuck behind. So
And it's a team effort too, like we've talked about and like we put in the
it'll be
forums and
interesting.
everything. Your GT3 team and your GT4 team still falls under that umbrella of your team.
Yep.
And so GT3 drivers working with GT4 drivers when they're testing and working, and vice
Yep.
versa, working together, helping each other with fuel strategies, because at the end of the day, points on either league help the team
Yep.
project for the win. It's although the drivers are different in category, and
Yep.
we'll sort that out after qualifications, but the impact for finishing in either of those is the same.
Yep. Yeah. And clearly, strategy matters.
It does matter, and the car selection is going to be interesting how guys choose that, because
Yeah.
it's you've got to not only consider what the GT3 car is that you're going to choose, but what is the GT4 car like?
Yeah.
And that's going to add another dynamic. This season is going to be so much fun,
I'm
so
excited.
competitive,
Yeah.
and I can't wait.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. It's gonna be it's fun. you can tell the guys are getting a little excited about it because you can start to see that just a little talkings here and there. So
Speaking
I
of
mean,
which,
while
you
we're
opened
on,
the registration.
yeah, so we opened up registration today. It is going to go between today and the end of next Sunday. So between now and then, if you want to run in the GT3, GT4 league, qualifying is September 24th. I'm whispering that because it's my wife's birthday and we haven't talked about it yet. Hopefully she doesn't see this before I tell her. I don't know. Anyway, so that's on the 24th, and then our first race is on October 8th. So we're going to have qualifying. We'll pick our teams that day. We find out who our captains are. Captains pick their team, and then you have a week to pick your cars. We pick our cars after the Sunday Cup. After that following week, we'll pick our cars, not our cars, our manufacturer, and then whoever you show up to race with that manufacturer is the car you run in. So, but we'll iron out all that stuff. All I need everybody to do is get on and register. I think up until now we've had 19 drivers register, which is great. I don't think all the GT3 World drivers have registered yet. There's a lot of drivers still available. Again, it's just day one. So please get on, register. If you're interested, fill out the form. Very simple. And look forward to qualifying. Because Still don't know the track.
There are 28 slots, and there are only
Yep.
28 slots.
No,
And
no.
it takes
We
28
we
to
might
fill it.
talk. We might talk about that.
There
But
are 28
yes.
slots currently. There are only 28 slots currently. And so get in there, register,
Yep.
get signed up. There is the qualifying, which is required, but it's all in the survey and everything. The rule sheet for the qualifications has been posted. Some of it is redacted because some of it is going to be a surprise.
Mhm.
So, but that's the start. That's how you do it. And encourage everybody to go in there, sign up, get registered. And we really want to see everybody participate in this because this
Yeah,
is
because ultimately, if we don't fill the lobbies, which I strongly feel like we will, but for some reason, if we don't, it's going to be a heavy recruit push. We'll get the drivers we need, but I'd rather just keep who we have here rather than having to go out and find some noobs that we don't know how they're going to drive, and that's the bad part. So rather stick with what we got and what we know. So
exactly.
register.
Margarita.
Right.
Margarita.
I've hit the bottom already.
Man, that was quick. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, kind of wrapping it up here. So, up next, what do we have coming up? So, this weekend we have Glovis's race, which is titled Expendable Weekend. The Glovis Cup 2,
Yep.
number 2.
Is it showing up?
I don't think so. I think this is. I think from the beginning he's not showing up.
Glovis, we miss you, man. Come race with us. I'm excited he got a wheel. Poor guy struggled with it Sunday, but I struggled the same way. It is so different. So different.
Glovis, hang in there. Anybody that goes from controller to wheel, and even from we were on wheel, we were on Logitech, and we went to the direct drive. Just going from that to direct drive was a big learning curve. But going from controller to wheel was a real big learning curve.
Yeah.
So don't be get frustrated. It's okay. You will get it. Hang in there, and
then you'll never go back.
You'll never go back. And I promise you, one day you're going to be doing something somewhere, driving somewhere for some race, and it's going to all click. And you're going to be like, why couldn't I get this before?
Yep.
It will. It will.
The information it gives you is amazing.
It is. It is well worth the money. Good purchase. After Glovis's Cup, which he won't.
What do you guys? What cars you running? You're running a little match cars, right? Like this big.
Yes. So we have the Fiat 500, 1.2 liter Lounge SS. You can hardly put an SS logo on this thing. Then we have the 2014 Honda Fit Hybrid and the 2015 Mazda Demio XD.
Right. And I remember one of the stipulations of his race is you have to run each car. You can't not race one of those cars.
No, you can run that. You can run each car on any track in order, whatever order you want, but you have to run all three.
Yeah. And if you don't run all three, you don't score points on one of your races.
You don't score points on the race you duplicated. And the courses are Willow Springs, Streets of Willow, which Alsace Test Course. We all know what that's shaped like.
Yeah, someone. So who mentioned that in the lobby the other day? That they missed the penis part. It was probably Floody. Or was it you?
I mentioned what it was. Yeah, Floody did mention that he missed it. And then Kyoto Driving Park Miyabi, which not a bad choice.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
I don't believe it can rain at any of these tracks.
Would it matter?
No.
I mean, the wheels are like this wide. It
No,
cuts
you have
through puddles.
150. I think it's 150 horsepower. Is that it? Yeah, 150 horsepower.
Damn, one extreme to the next, man. I give him credit though. He comes up with some interesting ones. Well, I say that a little loosely because that NASCAR one was
No, I
meh.
love that. I love that. Glovis, that was a great one. I missed it. I don't remember why I missed it. There was something that happened, but I really, really, really was looking forward to that. I bought a $300 wheel for that race.
All I saw was the back of Chaotic's bumper. That's all I saw for 20 minutes.
I wanted to do that race so bad. August 27th, which is the following weekend after Glovis's No Show Up Cup, is going to be GT3 Sport Weekend once again. And
Championship
championship weekend, big weekend. Practice,
and
practice, practice.
college football liveries.
College football liveries. Yes. College football liveries. So pick your college team of choice and livery your car up.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the finals. This is for everything. World goes to Fuji. Sport goes to Suzuka. So we're all in Japan for finals.
Yeah,
Spent a lot of time in Japan recently, haven't we?
we have. We have. We don't play around here much, but it's been good. I like these tracks. Well, when you have the right car, it's nice.
Right. And then on the 10th is we're coming up. We're less than a month away from Torture Weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Roster is full.
Yep.
You ready for this one?
Yep. No. No. I haven't even touched that track or that car or anything. I don't even want to think about it. I'm focusing on World right now. Once I get past that, then I'll push. But I got to get through Fuji. I got to get through Fuji first.
So you're only trailing by 10. You have got to beat him significantly at Fuji.
Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that does not happen. That straight scares me. I think I'll be fine in the turns, obviously, but that back section of the course where everything is graded in the wrong direction is not very conducive to rear engine cars. So
yeah, once again, Junkai is ill prepared. He is not ready. He is at a disadvantage. He is.
Did you see Folgor's meme today? That jerk.
Yes. 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 Yeah, I'll have to throw Folger's meme up on the screen here. And what he created.
There's private messages, like those should stay private, Folgor. You broke my trust, man. You took a direct message that you and we bonded. You took it and exploited me for it.
He kneecapped you Italian style.
I know he did. Yeah. Freaking. Yeah. Yeah, Fuji. I like Fuji. I do like Fuji. It was funny. I was watching today while I was working, watching the surveys come through and whatnot. And Fuji did not get one vote until late this afternoon. Every other track we listed had at least 2 or 3 votes. Fuji, 0 all day long until one person got on late and voted for Fuji. Yeah.
Well, interesting.
Yeah, I like Fuji. I didn't vote for it for next season, but I like Fuji.
And speaking of that, when you do this survey, the registration, you are picking next year's or next season's.
Yeah, we're not
schedule.
No, we're not changing anything off of what they're picking.
Nope.
Like we're not modifying it to align with Daytona or Spa or anything else. Like whatever you guys pick, whatever the top ones are, we'll put them in the wheel of death. That spin, and that'll be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth race.
Yep.
That's it. So it's in your hands. It's not in ours.
That's right.
And the top one right now, I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed at what the top one is. After the discussion from like last week, for those that were part of that discussion, you probably know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, if you don't know, you'll
it's
just
literally
have
the
to wait
top.
and see.
God,
But
so disappointed in our people. No, I'm just kidding.
how can we be so wrong about this? Like,
I don't know. We suck so bad. Why do people even watch this thing? I don't know. I need more Mambo Margarita. So Fuji will be fun. At least it's a track that most know, as opposed to like Alsace, which we all had to kind of cram for.
right.
And then Suzuka. I used to not like Suzuka, but I kind of like the flow of it now. I still think it's a little disconnected, but it's still a fun course, you know, as long as you're in the right car.
I'd rather be at Fuji than Suzuka.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. So, who knows? We shall see.
Well, we will find out. So, for everybody running, we will talk to you again in about 2 weeks. We'll recap all those things that we talked about. We will
We'll have a guest.
finals. I think we need to plan, maybe we take names, and yeah, we maybe do have a guest, but
No,
we also
we already have a guest.
We what?
We already have a guest. It's
We have a
championship
guest.
weekend. Yeah, championship recap. Like, this is the pinnacle of our podcast. This is what we're here for. We'll have a guest.
So, okay. So next podcast will be interesting because it's going to be a special podcast. I don't know what that entails just yet, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. And
It's championship weekend. And college is starting. College football.
So does that mean, okay, so what do we do? We dress nicer than in a Nike shirt and a polo?
I mean, any Clemson bullshit you put on is not going to be nicer than what we have on now. So no. No, I'm just saying it's championship weekend. We get to announce the winners on the podcast.
From both
We're gonna have a
series.
guest to help with that. Yeah, so it's gonna be good stuff.
It's gonna
Stay
be
tuned.
And we will see you on the next episode of A Drink with the Driver. Guys, enjoy. And gals.
Yeah.
See you next
Later.
time.